Right, I'm getting everything hooked up. The stream is about to start. As always, I gotta like send the link out to a couple people, but this shouldn't take but like a minute. So, also technically, if I'm looking at my laptop, I'm like early. I'm not early, but my freaking laptop tells me otherwise. So yeah, I'm just sending like two links right quick. The last thing I gotta do is set up my little Twitch, my Twitch link and send it to my Instagram. So yeah, the Twitch was working fine last week. So let's see. But yeah, this week I am drawing Raven from Teen Titans. How do I share my strip? Bro, I legit forgot how to share. Here we go. Next week I'm gonna have this done by the time the stream actually starts. But all right, I'm gonna just put this on my Instagram and then we should be good to go. Dang, I can't do two links. Whatever, dude. All right. What? Okay. So I'm going to just briefly go over my like last couple ones that I did. Give me a sec. So I can go ahead and I'm finna get ready to take this little promo down. But this was the first one, right? So this was the Robin drawing. And I have a character rig animated for him. Well, not animated, but I have him rigged so I can animate him. You'll probably see more of that. I might even put a video up during this week or no, next week. I'm doing this and then I might upload like a short and then I'm done for the week. But this was Robin and then last week was Cyborg. And I'm very proud of how Cyborg came out and I like how stylistically they look similar enough, right? They look like the same artist could have drawn them and like the highlights are kind of very similar to each other, the line weight and everything. So I'm glad with how these turned out, so I'm gonna try to do a similar thing with Raven today. So let me go ahead and grab my handy dandy stylus. All right, I got my sketchbook right next to me, getting everything situated right quick. Hopefully, I can get a few more people on this live stream. This is my second time streaming to Twitch, so I'm excited about that. If I can get more Twitch followers, that'll be dope. Also, I had like a coffee, not like an actual coffee like the drink, but the actual website coffee. It kept putting alerts on here last week, and it was kind of bothering me. So I have them spaced out more. It'll still send like a link or something through, but there'll be a lot more sparingly. So you might see maybe three of them throughout the night. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. Let me do one thing. I'm gonna turn the fan on right quick. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I'm gonna go file, new, and then we're gonna go, what was it? It was 1080 by 1350. And I say this every week, but I go 1080 by 1350 because it's an 8 by 10 proportion, and that's what I like to draw my little characters and stuff at. In fact, okay, I was gonna say my sketchbook is 8 by 10, but it's not. It's a smaller sketchbook. But okay, so what I like to first off, let me go file, hit time lapse, record time lapse, because it's the only way I'll have something to my Patreon right now. So Anytime you start a new drawing, or at least what I like to do is start a time lapse, so that way, whatever you draw, it'll record it for you, and you can see everything that you drew up until that point. So, if nothing else, it's just good to kind of see how your art process works, and you can show other people. It makes it a lot easier to like market yourself, I feel like. So, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna reference my sketches next to me. I'll probably have the sketches up. I need to upload the sketches for Cyborg, but I'll probably have those up on my Patreon later this week, maybe even tomorrow. I'm gonna zoom in and we're just gonna start sketching the face. So I'm gonna start off with like a circle, probably gonna make it a little bit larger. And we're just making these faint lines, right? And how do I want to do this? I'm going to go I'm gonna start at like the middle right here, drag this down, bring the face kind of inward. And then I want to make kind of like this diamond shape. I don't want it to be like too steep. I want it to be a little bit rounded. But with these characters, I want to have more of the shapes present. I don't want it to be like too humanoid. I'm gonna round off this top and even somewhat flatten it a bit. And what I want to do here is have Raven have like this kind of long face. If you know Raven from Teen Titans, okay, I had to make sure my mic was on. I was finna lose my mind, but yeah, if you know, if you know Raven from, geez, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. If you know Raven from Teen Titans, she's maybe not depressed, but she tries to keep her emotions in check because bad things can happen if she doesn't. So I'm trying to keep that kind of long face by. She's more so gonna have a big forehead by the end of all this. But let me see. I feel like I probably should have put a line upwards to like maybe here. I don't know. I think the nose will be good around here ish. Matter of fact, I think I like her nose better. No, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm gonna have her nose pointing downward because that's kind of how it works when she's like cloaked. She has a hoodie. Speaking of which, since she does have a hoodie, I'm gonna try to implement not a hoodie, but like a cloak with a hood. I'm gonna try to implement that into the drawing. So this is gonna be a pain. I think her like actually drawing her is gonna be one of the easiest because she doesn't have a mask like Robin. She doesn't have half her face robotic like Cyborg and all the like mechanical components. But she does have like the way she dresses, and since this is kind of tailor made for like animating, that's gonna make it a lot more difficult. Matter of fact, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna open up my little promo image again, just so I have like a frame of reference for Raven, so I can kind of occasionally look back at it. Okay, feel like I might have made the ears a little too big, but this is kind of cartoony. All right, so let's see. I kind of also want to repeat that kind of diamond shape on the eyes. So this is going to be difficult because I have to draw her eyes kind of low. I have to make her not care and also make it fit the rest of it. I think that's a decent shape. It's got the diamond feel that I wanted. I think I might tilt them slightly downward, maybe. But I think the actual shape of them are nice. Also, I'm not using a symmetry brush. I used one for Cyborg. I'm glad I have these open because I can keep referencing while I'm talking. But I had them open for Cyborg, or I used the symmetry brush for Cyborg, especially like in his face. So you can see if I like flip, well, okay, the actual page is off centered, but if I flip it, you see how his face is completely symmetrical. It's just like the biological side versus like the mechanical side is the only thing that's really changing. I feel like that fits Cyborg because he is a robot. Last week, my homeboy came in calling him a clanker. That was hilarious. Shout outs to Makai, by the way. But let's see. I don't like the placement of her face or her eyes specifically. I think I gotta raise them a little bit. And I might try. Oh my gosh. How? How? What even? What? Okay, okay, that makes sense. Now, what is going on here? Computer's being weird. But yeah, let me put them right there for right now. Let me see if I like that any better. I don't know that I do. Let me try something because I need to kind of map out the bridge of the nose. The bridge of the nose will go to like right there. Yeah, let me kind of continue that diamond kind of shape right here. Okay, so there would be the nose. So the eyes are a little bit off. We'll fix that. I don't like that. Digital art, you guys. I like glaze and hate on digital art like the entire stream. Like you got you gotta see it. Cause like there's so many benefits of drawing digitally and so many like cons. For the most part, I like doing digital art. I wouldn't say it's necessarily better than traditional, and I wouldn't necessarily say traditional is better either. Art is kind of art for the most part. I'm gonna kind of give her these kind of long, elongated lashes, just to give her like some girly features, and I feel like it kind of makes her eyes unique. I was like sketching these out last night. I'm like, yeah, these are dope. Um, I like this eye better than the one on the right. Matter of fact, let me flip it. I like to flip just to see how the other side is looking. I think that this left side is working better than the right. So this is just a base sketch underlayer. We'll fix everything up as we go. But I'm just trying to map out everything and I'm trying to explain it as we go along. So might see about getting like some music on these streams. I really love doing these streams better the way. They're like the only thing that like gets me just into making art like that. I'm gonna give her these kind of let me see, let me reference her. Because her eyebrows in the actual artwork are kind of Dragon Ball esque. But I kind of like her having the thinner eye. Let me see if I could try to do a mix of both. Let me erase right quick. And I want to make this in my style, but I don't want to deviate away too much from the original like Teen Titans look. Let me see. So I can still kind of give her these thin eyebrows. I kind of like that. They kind of seem more bird like this, but I don't like them. I don't like it arching that high. Let me grab it and then Control T. I like really have to make her look like she doesn't care. She has to scream IDGAF. Like that's exactly what this drawing has to encompass. I don't know about that, but we'll fix. Like I said, we'll fix it as we go along. Matter of fact, to make this easier on me, let me Control C, Control V. Y'all know what that means, right? And then I'm gonna go edit, transform, flip horizontal. You're gonna hear me say that a lot during this stream, especially like if you were here last week for the cyborg one. Oh my gosh, a lot of just copy, paste, flip. Very good tools. Okay, I feel like her eyebrows are definitely too big, but we'll fix that up as we go along. I'm gonna go back to P. Why do I have this brush so big? I'm not even using this brush, but that was gonna bother me. I'm gonna go back to my pencil tool, and then we're gonna get into this big forehead. Like again, I'm trying to give her like a long face, and I'm trying to repeat these kind of diamond shapes. All right, so she's got a diamond shape right there. It kind of matches the eyes. I might make it a little bit bigger. I'll leave it like that for right now. And then we're just kind of gonna center off this forehead. Yeah, I might just bring that down right now. I feel like it's way too close to the hairline. And since this is cartoony, I can get away with like something like a bigger forehead. And I want, because in this, she's got like her little bangs going off to the side a bit. But I think it would be more interesting and just kind of center the that third eye a bit better if I like brought those bangs in and out like this and even slightly cover her hair a bit. So let's see how that looks. That's how I've been doing it in my sketches. And she might come off like a different looking Raven, which isn't necessarily a problem. Yeah, that forehead is that forehead is big. I kind of like it though. Again, I'm trying to keep these diamond shapes. It'll help with like the stylization. And then I kind of want to round it out a bit. I think the ears are still a little big. I'll probably shrink or make the ears a little bit smaller. I kind of want to make almost like a diamond shape for the ears as well. Something like that. Feel like her eyes are too high. Let me see something. Let me bring this over. Oh, geez. Let me bring this over. When did I make a second layer? Did I mean to do that? I feel like I meant to do that. I feel like I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so this left side I think is definitely working. So we'll keep that in mind. All right, so now let's look at her hair right quick. So her hair kind of rounds off. Her hair is her head in the actual original is kind of more like an acorn type shape, but mine is more like an ovular kind of thing. It might look a little wonky right now, but I can almost guarantee you that it will come out looking decent or not. It's trial and error. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. I'm gonna go back to my pencil tool and then how do I want to do her hair? I kind of in my sketches I gave her like a bob. I think I want to continue that. Let me see how far does her hair come back. So it kind of touches the back of her neck. See, I'm gonna do like an inverse of the diamond shape for her neck. Okay, let me actually just draw a normal neck before I do that. I kind of want her neck kind of thin. Let me thicken it up a bit because I don't want her to look too lanky. Because like here, for a frame of reference, here's Robin's neck. You see how thin I made his neck? Let me see. I'm gonna bring her hair like right here. I think that's decent. And then I'm going to let me round it off right here. I might make like a part in the middle. And then I think if I just like bring it down a bit, yeah, just straight long hair, I think works pretty well. And now the long face isn't looking too bad. Let me see if I can. Let me see. You can kind of see like the ends of it here. Can you see her ear? Yeah, her hair covers her ears as well. So that'll also make it easier when I like animate. So I'll keep that in mind. Should I like just bring her? Yeah, I think if I bring her hair straight up like that, I have mixed feelings. Also, her hair kind of like loops out a little bit. I don't know if it does that a lot in like I was gonna call it anime in the actual cartoon, but I think for here that'll make it a little bit more interesting. So we got a decent start here. Let me erase some of this. Increase my brush size. Yeah, right about there. And again, she's kind of looking a little bit different than the actual Titans Robin. I think a big part of that is the long face, but I don't know. I kind of like that. So, okay, now we got like the start of the head. Let me erase the neck. I'm not liking the neck right now. The head is looking nice for the most part. I know I said no, like symmetry brush, but I might actually flip this side in a little bit because, like I said, it is looking good so far. So I'm gonna start a new layer for the body, just so like if I make any mistakes, I can like delete them a bit easier. Also, it'll help me connect certain parts. Okay, so since I have the head right here, let's zoom out a bit. And I kind of want to get the general shape of the body. I don't want to get too specific, right? How do I want to do this? Let's make a big old diamond shape. Ooh, this might be rough looking. Let's not do that. Let's make a. I think I want to make her chest like or her collarbone area kind of like right here, and then I can bring it up later if I want to. But and then we're gonna make like a another diamond shape here. And like I said, I just kind of want to repeat these diamond shapes for consistency. Repetition is good in art, especially like if you're drawing like kind of cartoony characters like this that are very like stylized. And then let's see, we're kind of gonna go and bring it inward a bit for like the kind of chest area to like the rest of the torso. And we're gonna cut that off right. Where do we want to cut that off actually? It's a little bit iffy. Let me do something right quick. Let me make it mostly symmetrical, like right about here. And then I'll start another one like down here. And this will kind of be like the lower half, if that makes sense. Right. So I'm gonna cut this off right here. I'm kind of liking how this is looking already, actually. And then like right, let me see. Right about here. I'm gonna bring that in. We're getting a decent kind of body shape. I might bring that up a little bit, but how do I want to do this? I'm trying to refer to my sketches. I think we'll actually just round it out a little bit. That'll make it easier. That'll make life so much easier on me. Let's see how that looks. Not quite a diamond shape, but it might be all right. So yeah, I think with this kind of longer body, the longer head is kind of working. And the head is kind of rounded too, so it doesn't look off. And again, this doesn't have to look 100% accurate to the original Teen Titans. You just have to kind of know that this is Raven. I feel like the eyes are off of. Well, no. I think that left eye is working. I think I just have to flip like the right side. Let me bring up this body a bit because I feel like it is a mm, maybe if I just make the body bigger actually, because that head is pretty big. Let me go Control T, and then I'm just gonna increase the weight and the height a bit. Maybe bring the body back down a little bit. Let's try that. Let's try 110. And I think I'm going to bring this bottom half up a little bit. What did I just do? I'm gonna bring this bottom half up a little bit. Something like that. And she can kind of be a little bit taller, but the thing with her is, and I can change their like actual sizes, right? But you see how this is Cyborg, right? So Cyborg is a little bit like leaner and like longer as opposed to as opposed to like Robin, who's a little bit more stubby. So you see like Robin is a bit like wider. And so if I make Robin shorter as opposed to Cyborg, he can get away with like looking shorter because Cyborg's a bit lankier, like kind of almost like longer in a sense. So he can appear as like taller without losing, if that makes any sense. So I kind of want Raven to be whoops. I kind of want Raven to be like an in between to both of them, not as like long as maybe Cyborg, but also not as like stubby as Robin. Because I think Raven is taller than Robin. I know Starfire is definitely taller than Robin. I think Starfire might be the second tallest, but I think this is looking good so far. I've kind of rambled a bit. Let me, whoops. I'm gonna bring the end of that body down a little bit more and give it more of that kind of diamond shape. I probably should have just made it round. Let me see. Something like that. Because I'm gonna have to use the legs, right? Or bring in the legs, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm gonna botch this a little bit. Let me see if I can like bring that in. I might have to bring that up actually. But let's zoom out a bit. And I'm gonna have to bring her up. Let's bring that up to close to the top. I might have to make the body a little bit bigger. I'm probably gonna have to shrink it and things like that. But I think for right now that's straight. It gives us a general idea of how she's supposed to look. I'm gonna hit P again to go to my pencil tool, and I kind of want like to make, and I really need her legs to look decent because that's like her one of her defining things about her outfit is just like how much of her legs she like reveals. They even have like an episode in Teen Titans Go where she like it's like literally all about her legs. So I don't want them to be like too like thick or anything like that, but I want them to be decent looking legs. There's like no way I can like talk around that. I need these to be like decent looking feminine legs. So I think the thighs are looking decent so far. Let me see. And I kind of want to try to bring in that kind of diamond shape again, but kind of like round it out a bit. I think that's looking decent. I'm going to kind of cut them off at like a triangle kind of shape. And most likely, I'm going to just flip one of these legs, and whichever one looks the best, I'll probably go with it. But again, so far, so good. I think her head needs to be shrunk a little bit. I use that word right? I think they need, I think the head needs to be shrunk a little bit. Let me go ahead and do that now. Control T, and to keep it in place, I'm not gonna like you can pinch in these areas, but it's gonna move to like one side. And if you do that, I guess I could have just did this. I've been using this software so long, and there's still stuff I just barely know. But I'm gonna hit OK. Probably bring the head up a little bit because it's like pretty close to the chest. That should suffice for right now. Uh, I think she's a little tall looking. If this was Starfire, I think that'd be fine because Starfire is a tall girl, but this is Raven and she's not as tall. She's probably tall for a girl, but I think Raven is probably like the third tallest on the team. I think she's still taller than Robin, but why is this not working how I want it to? Okay, wait, no. Yeah, because I didn't. Whoops. Why is it? I'm going to move. Oh, I'm in the wrong layer. I'm in the wrong layer. Also, be sure to keep track of your layers because things can get a little messy if you don't. Uh, Honestly, I think that kind of works actually to an extent. Matter of fact, let me bring this up. I don't want her to, because I kind of want Raven to be kind of skinny. I don't. I want her to have like a mix of both. Like there are certain reasons I want her to look a little bit skinnier, and there are certain reasons that I want her to look a little. I don't want her to be like thick, but I don't want her to be like anorexic either. I'm trying to think of how I should do this. Because Raven's kind of like, and I'm kind of applying certain stereotypes when I do these characters. There are certain things I want to go for. Like for Cyborg, I wanted the wider nose because he's black. Like and one, he does have a wider nose in the show actually, but I this is like a little bit more black. It's more of a black nose than even is in the show. And I think for Raven, I want to have certain attributes you might find in like a goth girl or something like that. So I feel like you might see well no, you could find skinny or thick ones. So I like but Raven in the show is kind of skinnier. But since I'm like trying to accentuate the legs, I want those part to be like thicker. You could have decent legs and still be skinny though. I don't know. We'll figure it out as I go along. I'm trying to like apply reason to why I'm making like my version of a fictional character. There's only so much reason you can have with that. But let's see. I've done a lot of netting in the past couple minutes. Let me bring this up a bit. In fact, let me just go ahead and shrink this whole thing if I can. Let's go Control T. Yep, yep, yep. So let me bring that down a bit more actually. I could always increase the size. I hit OK. This is definitely off centered, but it doesn't matter. I can fix that later. Let us see. Hold on, I'm tripping. Okay, okay. So I'm gonna go back, continue the body, and again, I kind of want to. This is gonna be rough. I kind of want to continue that diamond shape that I had earlier. So similar to how I did Robin, I'm gonna make like the like ankle portion kind of like a diamond shape. And again, I don't want these legs to be thick per se. It's kind of looking like that on accident, but I want them to be some decent looking legs because again, that is like a defining feature of this character is like her showing off her legs. But I don't want to be a perv about it either. So let's see. I think the legs are looking decent. Not the best with proportions, so she could look a little bit um I can't think of the word, but now with the shoes, I'm trying to think. I kind of was thinking about giving her like some heels, but she's a fighter, and so I don't think giving her heels would make much sense. I was also thinking about giving her earrings, but I don't think I will. I might give an earring to Beast Boy though. I feel like that'd be cool. Feel like the legs could be a little bit longer. Again, this is like the first sketch though, so I don't have to like commit to pretty much any of this. How do I want to do these shoes? Because I don't want to give her like any sneakers or anything like that. That's not her style. I feel like you need to see her shoes and be like you either need to be like, what are those, or you need to like have something like out of this world dang near. I'm gonna give her something with like a band around it. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I want to do this part. I'm like halfway feeling this and halfway not right now. I feel like the whole design has potential. It's just kind of rough. Let me rotate this. That might give me a better sense. Yeah, yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Let me bring this out like this. And again, I want to try to repeat these diamond shapes as much as possible. This isn't quite a diamond, but I think that's good enough. It's still kind of sharp. It's gonna be a long night. My streams usually last about 6 hours on average, I'd say. Maybe a little bit less. Especially since I've been doing like these little character drawings. Oof. It's getting there. Okay. And then like I said, I kind of want to inverse that diamond shape around the neck. I feel like that looks halfway decent. I feel like it might still be too close to the chest, which is something I could fix later. I have such mixed feelings about this design. Oh my gosh. But it's all stuff that can be fixed and like tweaked as I go along. So I think I know where some of my issues are coming from. I'll fix it as I go. But now I got to do the arms. The arms have been kind of bugging me anyway. So let's go to the arms next, and then we'll kind of finish off this base sketch. So how do I want to do this? Let's just slightly lower the shoulders right here, right? And then we'll kind of round them off, and then we'll bring that down. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's square this area off because I feel like this would be like the chest right here, or kind of where the chest stops. And then this right here would kind of be the shoulders. Again, I'm not the best with anatomy, but I try. Yeah, and then we can kind of bring that down and try to make the kind of diamond shapes. So again, this will kind of be like how I did Robin's arms again. Um, yeah, kind of want to make like a little diamond here. I feel like that's maybe long enough. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is gonna be a long night. This is gonna be a very long night. But let's see. We got some kind yeah, we got crazy diamonds, Don. What's up? Let's see. I'm kind of liking this so far. It's the first like layer or first couple layers, so and I'm kind of trying to repeat these kind of diamond shapes that she has. Yeah, these arms definitely ain't going long enough or like down far enough. Hold on, give me a sec. Because if I'm standing up, my bicep will kind of end. Yeah, right, like right around there, like in this middle section. So let's kind of do that. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it like on the screen from like a bigger view, I think this looks halfway decent so far. All right, let's see. How am I gonna do this? Kind of gonna continue that kind of diamond-esque shape down to like here-ish. Do a similar thing for like the hand. I think I might want to have her thumb out a little bit. For like Robin, Robin's just got like balled up fist, but I don't think Robin doesn't fight like Cyborg and Robin. Usually she's kind of casting these kind of spells and things like that. So I feel like an open hand for her would fit a bit better. Plus with her clothes, I think her clothes might kind of wrap around her fingers if I'm not mistaken. I'll figure it out as I go along, but something like that. So this is kind of the general idea of her kind of fit. Now, one other thing before I move on to the actual second layer of this is that like she's got a cloak. So this is a perfect time to should I merge these layers? Yeah, let me go ahead and merge these layers right quick. Control E. And then I'm gonna lower the opacity and just kind of try to map out how I'm gonna do this cloak. I was thinking about doing it off-centered. So maybe like right here-esque. Because I think it's slightly off-centered in the show. I'm gonna do Okay, so her hair comes out a bit, so I need like the hood to come like out past her hair. Something like that. Kind of similar to, well, see, Robin didn't have hair on his, so like, let's see. And then I guess, oh, this is gonna suck. Let me do like the back right quick. I think I want the back to kind of end. Hers kind of comes all the way down, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't really have to. It's my drawing, so let's do that. Like right about here. I'm definitely gonna use a symmetry brush for this part. And then I want to try something because again, this is made for animation. So, matter of fact, let me start this in a separate layer. Okay, so I'm going to let's try to like round it off like right here-ish. Let me cook, chat. Let me cook. This might go horribly like wrong or not how I expected, but I just want to see something. So let me control C, control V, edit transform, flip horizontal. And then for like, we got like two different parts of this cloak now. And so if I were to hit control T, this part works. I'm just trying to use my imagination, but then this part can kind of like open up and like reveal the inside of her cloak. So that's good. However, the only problem with that is now there's like, you see how it's like this is supposed to be the back right here, so you can see that, and then there's like an opening to where like it doesn't connect to the rest of the cloak. It probably also shouldn't go out that far either. So let's try something. Matter of fact, let me better map this out so y'all can kind of tell what I'm doing. Let me kind of sketch in this background a little bit. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. We're just kind of going to make some squiggly lines right here, and then I'll lower the opacity a bit. People walking in just now, like checking this out right now, are like, what is he doing? Matter of fact, let me try that in a different layer. I'm just going to get my like brush or one of my brushes and like, matter of fact, let me make her a little bit so people coming in can still kind of see the character. But let me see. I got this in a new layer. I swear this has to do with the actual drawing, but just bear with me for a second. So I'm just kind of almost filling that in right quick. I'm going to lower the opacity of it. So you can kind of tell this is like the back of the cloak, right? So you can still kind of see her body. And the reason, like, again, I'm doing this is just because, like, this is meant for animation. I want the cloak to, like, open up in the animation. So we got these kind of wings right here. See, it looks good, like, when you can kind of tell what it is. The only thing is, like, once they open up, it'll look off. So which one is which? Okay, this is the right one. Let me go Control T and try that again. And I'm going to just have it hinge, like, right in that middle. So you can kind of see that it like comes out, but like it would disconnect from this. So let me try something. If I went and did a new one, hit P, and then say brought it in like to right here, if this even makes sense, I'm really trying something. And then I like bring it into like here. Yeah. So let me copy this layer right quick. Control C. Hold on. Whoops. Control. All right. So what I'm gonna do if y'all are still with me. I know this is kind of confusing, but I'm gonna Control V and copy that. Hmm. How do I want to do this? Because if that's closed, let me see. Let me hit erase. And then I'm gonna go back to this, Control T, bring this up to that kind of hinge point, and then okay, so now it's kind of working a little bit better because it's like coming out. I don't know if that'll work. I'll figure that out as I go along. But I do like how this cloak looks, even though it's not opening. But at worst, I'll just have to like make a whole just separate cloak. But I want it to be animated though. We can't always get what we want though. So I'm gonna just put this cloak in a different layer entirely, or its own folder, and then we're gonna go back to the actual character. Yeah, yeah. All right. So we're gonna start the next layer for Raven. Whoops. All right, and there are certain things that I like about this like character model and certain things I don't. Let me lower this folder and let me increase the opacity for this one a bit. Okay. So, actually before I go on, there's one thing that I didn't do cuz she's got like a belt. And since I have like the cloak cape thing kind of off-centered, I kind of want to off-center the belt as well. So maybe have it like go from like here to here. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Because it's kind of doing like a kind of almost contrapposto kind of thing where like this part is going down and then this part is kind of going. No, wait, no. Yeah, it's kind of going this way and then up to like this way. It's kind of making like a kind of Z. I kind of like that. I'll leave it like that for right now. And then we'll just kind of continue with that. So this is the base kind of sketch, and then we'll take it from there. So let me see. Is her head too big? It might be too big. Cyborg's head is supposed to be smaller, but this is Robin's head. Oh, geez. I keep getting confused with that one. Yeah, that was Robin's head. This is Raven's head. Let me increase the opacity again. So I think it's a decent size. I keep going to the wrong thing. I think that's a decent size, especially like since she's got the little cloak part. I'll leave it like that for right now. It'll make it easier for me to draw her. Let's see. I think I'm gonna bring her up a little bit. So I'm gonna select all these layers. Actually, no. Let me just make her bigger, actually. Nah, you know what? I'll just go how it is. I'm doing a whole lot of nothing right now. Control Z. Okay. I done rambled long enough. Let me go back to my pencil tool. I'm going to slightly make her more transparent. And then I'm going to go on this eye again because I like how I drew this eye. Let me see. I'm going to go with a size 7 brush on here. I think that's too big, actually. Let me go back to 6. And then I'm just going to, in this new layer, kind of continue that almost diamond eye shape. And I want to make sure this kind of like holds that shape because I do need to make it so that there's like a shadow under her face later for like when she does put on the cloak. So let me do the nose. And then let me actually draw like the eyeball. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is starting to look nice. And then I'm really just gonna copy and paste that eye.